Everyone, please welcome Vikram. I know he has a very busy evening. His evenings are all full of several calls, but he really wanted to be here, share his insights. I know Vikram, I would say for last more than 3, 4 years. I know how a strong leader he is in IAM space, and it's our pleasure to hear insights from him. This is how we are gonna grow. So here we have Vikram, and Vikram, you are being watched by entire CyberSolve. So here you see a limited people, but we have a virtual conference room where I think more than 300 people are watching you, and
Oh,
all of them
nice.
are very eager to hear you.
Thanks for having me here, Mayank.
You're welcome. So Vikram, I know that you carry a very extensive background in IM domain. I know that you have started and worked as an IM consultant, and then you progressed to IM architect role. And in fact, you were leading an IM program in a very large global organization. And in your current role, you are actually now leading the entire infrastructure function in TTEC, which this role is even bigger than just leading the IM program. So now, when you are working more and more closely with organizational CXOs and business heads, we are very curious to hear insights from you on the strategic importance that now you see of IM programs when you are carrying a even bigger, broader landscape, broader business landscape, I would say. So, how much do you think is IM important for CXO level people and leaders?
Right. First of all, again, thanks for having me here, Mayank. So it's really nice. I know like some of the folks here on the call, and yeah, let's get started. Actually, I started my journey long time ago, almost like 2 decades ago. I evolved, as you said, like from a consultant to an architect to a program lead in large organizations. When I started a long time ago, what IAM used to be back then versus what it is right now is significantly different. So when I started, it used to be a small sidekick project for the IT. It's a very niche area, right? So to enable automated provisioning, that's about it. It used to be more on the identity management than anything else.
Mhm.
But now it has evolved to a large program that is deeply aligned with the business objectives. And today it is very crucial. IAM is crucial in driving the revenue growth, ensuring regulatory compliance, enhancing customer experience, and effectively managing the enterprise risk. And additionally, in the last couple of years, with ChatGPT and other AI models coming into the industry, like we have also started seeing these new AI-driven models transforming how we manage identities and accesses within the organization, right? So these models have already started. Like we have seen some tools, they already started helping making quicker decisions, reduce friction between businesses and IT, and overall improve the operational efficiency. And this is all being done without slowing the business down, right? So that's how IAM is growing. Now, in the past, it always used to be organizations used to treat IAM as like a IT or a security
Yes.
overhead rather than like a critical business function. Now that is changing because it started providing a lot of like significant competitive edge advantages, right? Like for sustained growth, either through M&A activities, cloud adoption, or various other digital transformations which are happening within the organizations these days, right? So, for instance, if I were to talk about like in the last few years, I've been working with like a couple of organizations that were expanding inorganically, like through acquisitions, divestitures, other things, right? For these M&A activities and divestitures, right, programs to run successfully, like it required like a strong IAM program in the backend, right?
Mhm.
These M&A, see if it is a publicly traded company, they come with like very tight deadlines, right? Like the
Right.
minute that you actually the news is out, there's a lot of pressure built within the organizations to deliver or to actually integrate that newly acquired organization into the enterprise systems, right? So without a robust IAM program, delivering this IAM integrations would face like significant delays leading to revenue loss, even legal penalties in certain cases, right? So all these unforeseen challenges are presented when there is a lack of robust IAM program for organization. All in all, my point, in short, is like IAM is no longer a technical
IT automation
checkbox,
tool.
yeah,
Yeah.
or an automation tool, but it is a key driver to business growth and success. That's what I
It's
believe.
now a business enabler. That's
It
that's
absolutely
definitely a
is a business
realization.
enabler, right?
Great, great, wonderful. Now, since so great, there's a realization, there is a understanding that now it is a business enabler also. So what, according to the business leaders or other CXO level leadership, like CIOs, CTOs, how do they define, or how do they qualify a IM program as a successful program? What, according to you, are the key KPIs or metrics to give them a feeling that the program is going in the right direction, or they should, even before starting the program, what are the KPIs that they look at to decide whether they should invest on the IM programs?
To invest on IAM programs, or even okay. Uh, See, in short, if I were to start right, like in my view, a successful IAM program is the one which actually enables businesses to quickly make decisions that can be supported by the program
Mhm.
to deliver the promises or the goals of the business in securely, efficiently, meeting the regulatory compliance without actually even compromising any of the end user experience. See, a lot of these things happen like, okay, you can write controls on one end, trying to implement some stringent IAM controls, but that
Yeah.
always comes at a cost of like end user experience. See, without
Correct.
compromising that, delivering that is one critical thing that most of the CXO leaders today they see. I mean, they see like making an investment on so and so thing within IAM today. Would it really help me to make a
Mhm.
quicker decision the following year? See, the business always has like a look forward approach, right? Like what's
Mhm.
coming in the next 3 or 4 years, M&As
Yeah.
or any transformations for that matter. So for
Mhm.
all of these things, I think it is very critical for the CXOs to make those decisions, not often consulting IT, right? Sometimes IT gets to know at a later time. So if you don't have a robust program, again, these all things are very, I mean, like it becomes futile, right?
Sure.
With that said, the key or the standard KPIs that we have seen in the past few years is like it is always around like help desk cost reduction, how much automated user provisioning is
Mhm.
happening, how much password reset volume that we are receiving, audit
Mhm.
success rate, adoption rate like of key IAM capabilities such as like SSPRs, MFA, and other things, right? So these are the things that we have seen. But I think these are all like taken for granted. These you don't even if you go like with these things to any leader right today, like IT leader, like or even business leader, these are all granted. They are not even willing to
Oh.
listen to this. But the newer ones, like you started seeing, is like license optimization. How quickly organization can actually reclaim the licenses and recycle those subscription licenses, right? And IAM ROI is one big thing that I started seeing. Like there's a push, like okay, what other additional revenue can directly or indirectly can IAM bring to the organization? That is one thing that I've seen
Mhm.
CFOs asking frequently. And quicker adoption to newer technologies. You see the landscape
Wonderful.
changing very quickly, right?
Yeah.
How quickly are we adopting to the newer technologies? That is another thing. Automation coverage, right? How efficient your IAM solution is today. Like how a new employee gets access,
Right.
80% of all the access that he needs on day one, right?
And become productive immediately.
Exactly, right? Like
Yeah.
how much, and is it like only 10 people out of 100 provisioning that is successful? I mean, 10% versus
Mm.
like 90, 95%, all these things. And
Right.
with all these automated or integrations, basically like incident response time, how quickly can IAM systems respond to any incident in the within the organization? That is also something that I've started noticing.
Okay.
So for effectiveness, I think like all organizations should certainly do like benchmarking with the industry standards, like what is happening in the industry, and then do cost benefit analysis, ensure that it aligns with the business goals, and make that future investments and other things.
Okay. Great. Very insightful, Vikram. This brings me to my next question. Would be a last point, but very important. As a customer, Vikram, the one who has represented his organization and has partnered with several services provider, consulting providers, what would be your recommendation or like a feedback or areas of improvement in general that you wish that every service provider would do, the areas where you wish every IAM service provider would do better to provide better experience or better success to the IAM programs?
Okay, what service providers can do, you mean? Do okay.
Can do,
So
yeah, yeah.
can do, should do, right? Like, yeah. So that's an excellent question, Mayank. Like, no, actually, thanks for asking me that. See, if I were to answer this in a single statement, right? Like, I would just say that like the service firms needs to focus more on the business outcomes rather than the IT challenges.
Hmm.
So let me expand and explain like what I mean to say. So in my previous responses, I've been alluding to the IAM program no longer being like an IT problem, but it is truly becoming a business enabler, right?
Yeah,
So when we say business enabler, but if service firm or the IT teams within the service firm engaging the service providers, right? If they only engage the IT teams with little or no involvement from the business stakeholders to deliver this program, I mean, do you see the gap that I'm trying to actually highlight here?
yeah,
You
right.
are only trying to keep it completely like an IT. I understand this is not just the responsibility of the service provider, right? But however, I strongly feel, service provider like the firm's responsibility is to also educate the client on the
Mhm,
importance of business involvement. See, after all,
mhm,
you are the experts,
right.
right? That is the whole reason why an organization is bringing you into the organization to actually deliver this IAM program, right? So that is very important. Educating the client is what I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if I were to expand, like, okay, when IAM is treated purely as an IT issue, the focus remains
Mhm,
completely on solving the technical challenges from an IT perspective rather
mhm.
than addressing the business needs. So this disconnect often results into solutions that it may
Not at
not
all.
meet the
Yeah.
business needs, right? And business sees the IAM as more like a roadblock rather than it being like a value driver. That's where and so to bridge this gap, I strongly believe the service provider should not only be playing an implementation partner role, but rather a long-term strategic partner in delivering IAM solution. So not just focusing on how to deliver this, but also like why it is needed and
Mhm.
how these solutions align with the overall long-term business objectives. And secondly,
Okay.
beyond implementation, I believe service firms should also provide as I mentioned earlier, like consulting, coaching, and educating the organization so they can develop a strong strategy and a program which drives like the business value rather than just fulfilling the technical requirements, if it makes sense.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And you have very properly articulated it, I would say. I totally agree with you, Vikram, on this. All these points were very insightful. I'm sure every cyber solver here would have loved to hear these, and we are going to implement it. We are going to take note of this, Vikram. Thank you so much for taking out time for us, Vikram.
Thanks, Mayank. Pleasure to be here.
Thank